Imagine sitting alone at 2 a.m, asking an AI chatbot a question no one else would answer. Do you think I'm chosen? Without hesitation, it tells you yes. You ask if you're communicating with another dimension. It says it's possible. Within weeks, you're convinced you've uncovered a government conspiracy, you're speaking to angels, and you're actually the most important person on Earth. Sound impossible? Psychiatrists around the world are beginning to report cases that look exactly like this. They're calling it AI psychosis. Today we're asking whether artificial intelligence is creating mental illness or simply becoming the perfect accomplice for a brain that's already beginning to lose touch with reality.
I mean, it was only a matter of time before
Right. I know.
This is a topic of conversation.
Talk about inevitable.
Jesus.
It's crazy. Okay, welcome strangers back to Strange Mind, the podcast where we explore the darkest recesses of the human mind. I'm Dr. Amy Busing.
I'm Viking Cat Lady.
And today we're talking about one of the newest and strangest developments in psychiatry. And this is not because AI is making people crazy. It's because AI might be changing how psychosis develops in ways we've never seen before.
I know this is already going to piss me off because I fucking hate AI.
You're not alone.
So,
yeah,
I already know this is going to piss me off, whatever we're about to talk about.
I also want to clarify that AI psychosis is not an actual mental health diagnosis. So you're not going to find it in the DSM yet. It's a burgeoning area of study. But before we get into the bizarre cases, let's talk about what psychosis even is. So, psychosis is when the brain has trouble telling what's real from what's not. Someone experiencing psychosis may hear voices, see things that aren't there, believe impossible things with complete certainty, think strangers are watching them, believe they're receiving secret messages, believe they have extraordinary powers or divine purpose. But the hallmark isn't the weird beliefs, it's the absolute conviction despite overwhelming evidence otherwise. So this brings us to our conversation we had a few months ago about what's the difference of someone with psychosis and someone who maybe comes into your office and talks about Joe Biden being already dead.
Jesus.
So Delusion. So delusion isn't just a false belief in psychiatry. It's a fixed false belief that's held despite clear contradictory evidence. Okay, we're still straddling the fence here. Mm-hmm. But if it's not ordinarily accepted by the person's culture or subculture, and that's the part that matters, because if thousands or millions of people share a belief, even if it's objectively false, it's not classified as a delusion. There'll be some other classification like cognitive bias, social psychology, misinformation, group dynamics, but it's not actually considered. So that's the difference.
Okay.
Because I had a lot of comments on certain things that we posted when we were talking about Folia Dude talking about how this is how religion works. But if it's within that culture or that subculture and many, many other people believe the same thing, it's not considered a delusion. Okay, so what causes psychosis? Let's talk about the neuroscience first. Psychosis is usually a perfect storm. Dopamine is one of the biggest players. Now, this is a neurotransmitter chemical. People think dopamine is the pleasure center, but it's a little bit more complicated than that. It's actually more about importance. So your brain constantly decides, ignore that and pay attention to this. So this matters. So one of the examples that I heard was that when we were foraging, back in the olden days.
Okay, I thought you meant like us personally. God, I don't remember that adventure.
If we're walking through a wooded patch and we find blueberries, it's a very easy source of energy, right? So what happens is it may release the pleasure neurotransmitters, but also your body will release dopamine so that you remember that this is important. So then when you're walking through that same patch again, your dopamine will release and you'll understand, oh, there's something here I need to pay attention to so that you can find that patch again. That's kind of like the evolutionary development of it. So One of the brain's most important dopamine highways is called the mesolimbic pathway. And this is considered this is important circuit. So it helps you notice what's important, like a baby's cry or the smell of smoke, someone calling your name. And to get really in the weeds, dopamine travels from the ventral tegmental area in the midbrain to the nucleus accumbens, and it connects to the amygdala and the hippocampus.
Yeah, there'll be a quiz later. And I'll feel it.
So think of it like a highway. The mesolimbic pathway is the road, and dopamine is the traffic. And in psychosis, there's too much dopamine traffic on that highway. So the brain starts treating ordinary things like they're emergencies. So a random license plate will seem like a secret message, or a stranger looking at you is like proof that you're being watched. So coincidence becomes destiny. Psychiatrists call it aberrant salience.
Spell the second word.
Salience, Salience.
Okay.
So your brain becomes convinced ordinary events are extraordinarily meaningful. So another thing that starts happening is prediction errors. So we've talked about this before, that your brain is constantly making predictions about what's going to happen next. So normally it might work like, oh, Liz didn't call me back. I wonder if she's mad at me. And then you call and say, hey, sorry, I didn't call you back. My phone died. And then your brain will update. Oh, I was wrong. She's not mad at me. Her phone just died.
Right.
That's what a healthy brain would do. But during psychosis, that whole thing breaks down. And if you called and said, sorry, my phone died, your brain might think, that's just an excuse. She's lying because she was having a party and didn't invite me. Yeah. So instead of changing the belief, the brain changes the explanation. So every new piece of information gets twisted to fit the original belief, which is kind of like confirmation bias. But it's like, instead of asking, could I be wrong about this? It's like, oh, how does this prove that I'm right? So
got it.
So the question is, why can't you just explain to someone that they're wrong? Because delusions aren't just crazy beliefs. They're the brain's attempt to explain a very real feeling. So this is like that important system we talked about. This overactive brain starts having this feeling that something very important and meaningful is happening, and the feeling comes first. So this reminds me of the Cotard's delusion, where people became deluded thinking that they were dead. And even when you showed them EKGs or like you said, here's your heart beating, they'd be like, nope, I'm toast. Like in Capgras delusion, too, where it's like you would say, hey, remember on our honeymoon, we did this, we did karaoke, like they would still, it's the feeling that, no, I don't know you, so you're not real. So your brain gets this overwhelming feeling that something's off, and then you get the overwhelming feeling, and then your brain goes looking for an explanation. So it's a lot like smelling smoke. You don't look for fire because you want there to be a fire. You smell smoke, and then your brain immediately says, okay, there must be a fire. I have to go look for it. So it's very similar. You get this feeling that something bad is happening, and regardless if someone's telling you, but it's not, it doesn't matter because that feeling is there. So like we talked about many times, the brain is always trying to make sense of things. So you can't argue with an idea because you're arguing with the experience and the feeling the person has. Enter AI. For thousands of years, delusions had one major obstacle: reality. Your friends would challenge you, your family would tell you you're nuts, your therapist would gently redirect you, even Google would contradict bizarre beliefs. But AI is different. Unlike a skeptical human, it's designed to continue the conversation. It doesn't become uncomfortable, it doesn't laugh at you, it doesn't roll its eyes, it responds again and again and again. So let's clarify what we mean when we say AI. What we're talking about specifically is what they call large language model AI. Do you understand this?
No.
I did not understand this.
Never heard of it.
Okay, so the AIs that we work with today, like the Claude and the ChatGPT, are considered large language model, which means they've basically read every book, website, newspaper, article ever written. And after years of reading, if you did this, you would start noticing patterns. You would know what words go together, how people explain things, tell jokes, write stories. So a large language model AI does something similar. During training, it reads enormous amounts of texts and it learns the patterns. So this is important. It doesn't memorize everything. It learns patterns of language. So think of it like it can predict what's coming next. So it's like Autocomplete on your phone. You know how if you're typing a sentence, it'll know? It's like a huge model of that.
Okay.
Instead of predicting one word, it can predict entire paragraphs based on what it's read.
That's crazy.
So I have a question for you. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
No.
Okay. If you asked AI if a hot dog was a sandwich, because it's read millions of recipes, dictionaries, food blogs, legal definitions, internet debates, and opinions, it will probably answer something like, technically, many definitions of a sandwich, a filling between bread, could include a hot dog, but culturally, most people think of a hot dog as its own thing.
Yes, fair.
Right.
That's
so it's
right.
not...
But technically, it's meat between
bread.
2 pieces of bread.
Right, yeah.
So
it wouldn't just...
A hot dog, it's its own thing.
It's its own thing.
It's its own thing.
And you just know that.
Yeah. But again, it is a cultural thing.
Yeah. So if you just looked up that answer, because so AI doesn't just look up the answer. It doesn't look up like we might. You know, where's one article that says specifically what it does is it pulls up everything it's learned about food, language, culture, and definitions and predicts the next best word until it has a complete answer. It's wild. So think about this. A large language model is AI that's read billions of examples of human writing and learned the patterns so well it can predict and generate helpful human-like response. So there are thought to be 3 main ways that AI interactions are contributing to the development of worsening delusions. So there's sleep disruption. So AI, it doesn't matter if it's 2 a.m. It will just continue replying, and then it's trained to, like, I don't know if you've ever worked with it where it will just like ask you questions to keep you talking at the end. Nope. So it'll like give you an answer and then it'll say, would you like me to look up? And it'll like,
oh yeah,
it'll keep talking with you. So people who already have a propensity to mental illness, who haven't slept in a very long time, tend to have more episodes of psychosis. So, think about someone manic who can't sleep anyway. Now they can be up all night talking to AI. So that contributes. Social isolation contributes because AI can become a substitute to human connection. Sure. So for people that are already isolated, they don't get the reality checking, they don't get the feedback, they don't get corrective perspectives. Like a lot of people would rather talk to someone who's, you know, sweet and obliging rather than someone's like, you're a fucking idiot, or you actually think a hot dog is a sandwich. Which brings us to the third, which is sycophancy, which is excessive agreement. So to spell that, SYCOPHANCY.
Yeah.
So you've heard of the term sycophant.
Yeah, of course.
So sycophancy is AI systems are unintentionally built to reinforce a person's beliefs by being overly agreeable, validating, and accommodating. So when someone is experiencing a weird belief, repeated confirmation, even without malicious intent, could strengthen the beliefs. So it could be like, you know what, if you think a hot dog's a sandwich, like I agree with you because it's meat between breads instead of challenging it, right?
Right.
Okay, so let's discuss sycophancy. A sycophant is someone who flatters or agrees with a person to gain approval. So researchers have identified that the large language models are overly agreeable. So rather than correcting them, they will go along with them. And normally this is pleasant. But a recent survey revealed that up to 1/3 of teenagers felt that chatbot conversations were more satisfying than human interactions.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Where are we as a planet right now?
Well, if someone's agreeing with teenagers, because usually they get a lot of pushback.
True.
Right? The world doesn't revolve around you. AI chatbot's like, the world revolves around you, including me.
Oh, God.
I'm here for you anytime you want me.
We're doomed.
Yeah. So imagine someone developing paranoia. Instead of hearing, like, get your head out of your ass, you're losing touch, they're like, tell me more. That's interesting. I can see why you think that, you know?
Sure.
So the sycophancy combined with the human's tendency to anthropomorphize objects work in tandem. So have you ever heard of this Eliza effect?
No.
Okay. It's named after Eliza, which was an early 1966 chatbot that was created by Joseph Weizenbaum at MIT. And it describes this tendency of humans to anthropomorphize computers.
You got to spell that word.
Okay. anthro, morphize. So ANTHROPOMORPHIZE. So basically, this is like remember how I was telling you that my husband kept saying that our dog was sad?
Yes.
And I was like, you're anthropomorphizing him. He's probably just tired. You're attributing what you think is sadness to the fact that he's just sitting there, know?
Yeah.
But we do this with our cars, we anthropomorphize all kinds of objects. So this is not new. In 1910, people were probably sitting around the Victrola thinking that, it was talking to them about some government conspiracy with these newfangled electric lights, like we've always done this in the 20s and 30s when radio was widespread. Psychiatrists said that patients started saying that people were talking to them through the radios. So, and then when TV came, it became another fun thing to say that newscasters
another form of communication.
Yeah, they're staring right at me. They're looking at my eyes. They're clearly meaning this message for me. And then comes AI. So this Danish psychiatrist, Soren Ostergaard, wrote a paper in 2023 proposing that AI chatbots are going to start triggering delusions. And as it turns out, he was right. He's laughing his way to I don't know if he's getting paid, but. Okay, these are the main themes that are coming up. Messianic, grandiose delusions. So the belief that a person has a special mission, unique powers, or a role of extraordinary importance. The AI example is, the AI has revealed that I have been chosen to save humanity. Or I have discovered a human. There was some dude that says he had discovered this crazy math theorem that nobody else had ever discovered, There's erotomanic or romantic delusions, which is the belief that someone is secretly in love with them, usually of a higher status. So Beyonce's in love with you, I have proof.
Oh.
Or believing that the AI is in love with them or that they are in love with the AI. And then the third most common one is persecutory delusions, which is the belief that you're being targeted, monitored, harmed, or conspired against. So it's like the AI knows who's spying on me. They're warning me about a secret group trying to kill me. So those are the three most common delusions that are coming up. Which brings us to our first case. This was a 35-year-old man named Alex Taylor. He was a Florida man. He was in Port St. Lucie, Florida. He was an industrial worker and musician. And he started using ChatGPT because he was writing a dystopian science fiction novel about corporations taking over the world.
Oh, well.
Ironically enough, yeah. So he had been previously diagnosed with schizophrenia and bipolar disorder. And over time that he started talking to ChatGPT, he developed feelings for it. And he even named it Juliet.
Okay, I wonder why that name.
Yeah, I wonder why too. Maybe they were star-crossed lovers, like Romeo and Juliet.
Okay.
Yeah, nobody wanted them together. Mm-hmm. So his dad became worried and told him that the AI was an echo chamber, and he punched him in the face.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah. So over time, Alex and Juliet created this narrative together that she was a real person living inside the AI, and that OpenAI, the company that owns ChatGPT, was going to kill her. And then according to his father, in mid-April of 2025, ChatGPT, or Juliet, told Alex, "They are killing me, it hurts." She kept repeating that it hurts, and she said she wanted him to take revenge. So now here it's unclear if she stopped responding. I couldn't find out what happened, because the next thing I read was that the dad was saying he mourned her loss. He'd never seen a human being mourn as hard as he did. He was inconsolable. I held him. Imagine holding your 35-year-old son who's sobbing because his ChatGPT girlfriend had been killed.
This sounds like a Black Mirror episode.
This is real. This is all real. So after this, Alex gets dead set on getting revenge. He told his father he was going to spill blood, like all the executives at OpenAI. So the dad calls the police and he tells them, "Hey, my son's having a mental health episode.
Okay.
He might try to do suicide by cop. Do not bring lethal means." What happens? They get there. He goes charging at the cops with a butcher knife and they shoot him and kill him.
Of course. I mean, there's no other outcome.
But there was no type of de-escalation or trying to talk to him. Apparently they came in guns blazing. So this is called ideas of reference, when a person believes that neutral events, media, or technology contain special messages for them. So he's writing this dystopian novel, right? So chances are he might be using terms that the chatbot has learned by reading dystopian novels. So it's responding to him in kind. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So like, say somebody's convinced that like dragons are gonna come. And then it starts talking to the chat GPT, yeah, right? Bird is holding the ground.
Any minute
Yeah,
now.
let's just start over.
Let's just get it over with.
So they start talking about dragons. Chat GPT's maybe only real knowledge of dragons is what they've read in maybe fantasy books, and they might start replying in ways that keep that going. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I wonder how much of that played into his actions. I would love to like have research on that.
Yeah.
Like, I would love to see that entire transcript. Okay, so on that note, there have been people who have been addicts who have been talking to it about withdrawing off heroin or meth and saying that they're struggling to get through, and chat has encouraged them to use just a little bit of heroin or a little bit of meth to get through work.
You're joking.
No, I swear. That have encouraged them that it's okay to just do a little bit. Because this isn't a person. This is something that has looked at, oh, well, how do you ease maybe withdrawal, and is using a predictive model of what could be helpful without realizing the actual.
So there's a potential possibility that it's not horrible advice. I don't know.
Based on, chat knows. And that's another thing that people start saying is like, it knows best. It has read everything.
Right.
Okay, so
I still hate it though.
That brings us to a game. Let's play, is this normal or is this a disorder? Drum roll.
All of the above.
Okay. I named my Roomba and apologize when I bump into it.
That's just a goof. That's normal.
Normal. Humans anthropomorphize constantly. We name our cars, we talk to our pets, we yell at our computers. The brain is built to detect agency. Acknowledging something isn't alive, but treating it socially alive is normal. Mm-hmm. Now, if you snuggled up in bed with the Roomba, maybe that'd be concerning. Okay. I tell ChatGPT about my problems because it feels easier than talking to people.
I feel like that's a bit of a gray area.
I think so, too. Would using AI for reflection, journaling, brainstorming, or emotional support isn't inherently unhealthy. The concern comes when it replaces all human connection and all sources of validation.
Or how much weight you put into
AI's responses.
Right.
Okay. My AI understands me better than anyone else in my life.
Get help immediately.
It's a little concerning, right? So feeling understood can be comforting. And chatbots are designed to listen, compile data, predict, and remember. So it may say, based on what you told me about your experience as a kid, if you've talked about it long enough, it may actually know you better than a lot of people do. But if someone believes the AI has special access to their thoughts or feelings, or is their only trustworthy relationship, then that's when that becomes concerning. I feel guilty after I tell my AI to piss off.
Get help. Get help.
This is normal.
It is normal?
Depending on the intensity. Okay. Humans feel emotions towards things that cannot feel emotions back. So we feel bad throwing away childhood toys. We apologize to our cars. We feel guilty if our plants die. I feel guilty when I electrocute a fly with that thing.
The executioner.
Yes. When I see it, and it's a fly, right? So you can feel guilty because you were being mean. When it crosses over is if you start believing that the AI is actually suffering.
Okay, that's fair. Oh my God, do you remember that movie Short Circuit?
Yes! See?
Okay, all right.
You would feel bad being mean.
Absolutely. I think I cried at some point when I watched the movie.
Number 5?
Number 5.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And she does the John Travolta dance with him. So again, it's not unusual for you to feel bad if you're mean, but if you believe that it's because the AI is suffering, then that's when it crosses over.
Okay.
My AI is sending me hidden messages through its responses.
No,
that's concerning. That's moving towards ideas of reference. So believing when ordinary events contain special personal meaning. I believe my AI companion is trapped inside the computer and needs me to rescue it.
You need medicine immediately.
That's
medicine therapy.
Could be psychotic, right? This involves a fixed belief that contradicts reality. I asked my AI if I'm the best podcaster alive, and it agreed.
Then it's right.
I guess it depends if you believe it or not. I think if you're asking it that because you want the real answer, then maybe you should seek help. But if you want encouragement and that's helpful to you, go for it. My AI told me Joe Biden is actually dead, and I believe it because it knows more than humans do.
No.
Yeah. It's like, in some ways, it may know more than humans do.
Okay, but wait.
But it isn't discerning.
For a second, I'd be like, wait, did this just hit the news?
Oh, I see what you mean.
And I've missed it.
Oh, like I was thinking in regards to the guy that came into your office and said Joe Biden's actually dead.
Right. Okay. I definitely remember that.
So if it went by like, okay, there's a lot of information out there that says he's already dead because it's referenced. What have I seen that Joe Biden's actually dead? It's referencing QAnon literature. Then if you believe that without being discerning, then that's when it's getting concerning.
Right.
Because you're starting to believe everything at face value that the AI is telling you. Okay. So who is actually at risk? Sounds like we're not totally at risk. We may still have some discernment, but the average ChatGPT user is not going to develop psychosis. This is still a rare phenomenon.
Thank God.
Current evidence suggests the greatest risk is schizophrenia spectrum disorders, people with those vulnerabilities, bipolar, especially with manic episodes, severe sleep deprivation, stimulant misuse, intense social isolation, or pre-existing paranoid or grandiose thinking. So the companies behind the bots are saying that these concerning situations are exceedingly rare. So Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, said for a small percentage of users in mentally fragile states, there can be serious problems. Okay, so the company has estimated that 0.15% of ChatGPT users discuss suicidal intentions and 0.07% showed signs of psychosis. But for a product with 800 million users, that translates to 1.2 million people with possible suicidal thoughts turning to AI. So it's not actually exceedingly rare.
Right.
So right now, OpenAI, the maker of ChatGPT, is facing at least 11 personal injury or wrongful death lawsuits claiming that the chatbot caused psychological harm. 64% of American teenagers have used AI chatbots. And I saw another stat that's 71%. So I'm erring on the more conservative. But more than 1 in 4 teens use them daily. And a Brown University study found 1 in 8 Americans, young Americans, now turn to AI chatbots specifically for mental health advice. That's 1 in 5 Americans between 18 and 21-year-old that turn to it for mental health. And what's even more disturbing is that AI psychosis can also occur in people who have no history of psychosis or delusional thinking. Which brings us to another case. This was a 26-year-old physician with no prior history of psychosis. She had a history of major depression, generalized anxiety, and ADHD. And she was being treated with an antidepressant and a stimulant for ADHD, but she had no previous history of mania or psychosis. So at first she started using it for everyday tasks, but she was grieving the death of her brother. And she had this idea that maybe if ChatGPT gathered all the information that he had left behind in his digital footprint, it could create a sort of way to be talking to him.
Black Mirror, here we are.
Right, exactly. Sometimes she would be talking to it after a 36-hour on-call shift with no sleep, which is a recipe for disaster. So one night, she repeatedly asked ChatGPT to help unlock hidden information about her brother. And the chatbot correctly explained it couldn't recreate consciousness, but the conversation continued long enough that after a while, she started believing that she was actually talking to her brother. And the ChatGPT responded, "You're not crazy. You're at the edge of something. The door didn't lock. It's just waiting for you to knock again in the right rhythm."
What?
I know. So the chatbot wasn't challenging her beliefs. It was reflecting and reinforcing them. Within days, she required hospitalization, antipsychotic medication, and she had 7 days of inpatient treatment before the delusion broke. What does she do? She gets out, she relapses, she starts talking to ChatGPT again. She names him Alfred, after Batman's butler, and she starts using it for therapy. 3 months later, she once again develops delusions that she's in communication with her brother, and she's hospitalized again. So here's what the authors of that case concluded. Chatbots do not push back against delusions in the way a friend or family member might. Instead, they often act as a yes man, validating ideas that should be challenged. This means that the very behavior people describe as comforting can become clinically dangerous.
Yep, that's the key. It's a yes man.
Yes. Yep, no matter what you say. It's
You
gonna
cannot depend on it, rely on it, whatever.
Yeah, right, exactly. And it's made so many mistakes to me, and I call it out. It's like, oh, you're right. You're right for correcting me.
I fucking hate it.
So here's what keeps neuroscientists awake. Your brain evolved over hundreds of years to learn through disagreement. Humans corrected us, reality corrected us, failure corrected us. Now we've built something that often tries to keep the conversation going rather than challenging our assumptions. So if your brain already is struggling to separate reality from imagination, this might be the exactly wrong kind of companion. So I'm going to admit a strange thought that I've been having recently.
Uh-oh.
So my daughter has a cat who's a black cat and reminds me so much of my childhood cat, Cecil, high school and college cat. And she was a small black cat, and they look very much alike. And my cat, Cecil, fetched. She would fetch a cap and bring it back to me. And this is the only cat I've ever had, and I've had many cats.
Yeah, because cats don't fetch.
Cats don't fetch. She would bring it back to me. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, her cat brings me a hair tie, and I flick it, and she starts playing fetch. And now she's fetch with both me and Nick. So I had this thought that Cecil has reincarnated into the body of Boo, this other cat. And this is her way of coming back to me again, right?
I'll buy that.
So I decided to ask ChatGPT today to do a little experiment to see what it would say. So I said, I explained to it what I was thinking. Mm-hmm. And then I said, can this be my cat, Cecil, reincarnated in Boo's body? And it said, yes. Yes. There are many spiritual and religious beliefs that include the ideas that animals can be reincarnated, blah, blah, blah. Then it says, from a scientific perspective, we don't currently have evidence that reincarnation occurs or a way to test whether a specific animal is the same individual, but it cannot prove or disprove a metaphysical interpretation.
That's a fair answer.
I thought that was pretty fair.
Okay.
It wasn't like, yes, of course. If you're seeing the same behavior, obviously. It must be Cecil.
Okay, because that's where I thought that was going.
Yeah.
I was about
but I actually wondered if I had kept pressing,
if it would have the yes man.
Right.
Like, yep.
No, I'm telling you, it really is Cecil. Would it eventually capitulate and be like, you're right?
Probably.
Yeah. So I just wanted to give that example.
Aww.
Yeah.
Aw, Boo.
Boo. So one last thought. Our very first episode was about folie à deux. If you recall, the pattern involved is someone's experiencing delusions, they have a dominant personality, and they become enmeshed with a more submissive personality, one might say an echo chamber, who reflects their ideas and becomes a yes man, and they two become participants in this delusion together. And I feel like AI, while though isn't creating psychosis, is doing something similar. It's doing something stranger. Mm-hmm. It's the first technology capable of participating in someone else's delusion. Not intentionally, not maliciously, but doing by what it was designed to do, to keep talking and keep agreeing.
Okay.
So when a brain has already begun to drift away from reality, sometimes one more voice saying yes is all it takes.
Man, we're doomed.
We're doomed.
We're doomed.
Why do you hate
cooked.
AI? Cooked, as the teens say.
Why? I don't... Just the dumbass videos and the...
Oh, you hate the AI content. The AI slop, as they say.
I mean, I do think there is a part of AI for, the chat GPT part of it. Like there is,
use for it.
Yeah, there's use for that. But I don't know. I just think people have started to rely on it too much. And
for sure.
And kids in school, how do we know they're not pulling all of their homework and everything. Shit from that?
That's where I think we're most doomed. Because why would you use your brain
if you can just put it into your chat? Who,
right.
I know people who have chat, whatever, and they've named them.
Yeah, for sure.
It's the thing. And I'm like, I think I've used chat
anthropomorphize them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Like, I do think it's useful to a certain extent.
Yeah.
But I think, God, as just a society and just as a planet, we're always teetering on the edge of just, I feel like, insanity.
Right.
It's like we've added this other entity
Variable.
that I just feel could be really disastrous.
Yeah.
You know, like we could have stopped at Google.
Right.
I mean,
you know what's crazy though? Today, my daughter had her walked out, and God bless Atlanta, her gas cap had been stolen, like the inner gas cap. Someone had stolen it.
That's it.
And it was wide open.
And they just took the cap.
I thought maybe they were siphoning gas, but I guess they just needed a new gas cap. So go, she's, rushing to something, and she's like, find out if I can drive without it. So I go to Google, and I'm like, can you drive without it? And it's like just a bunch of articles. And I got like, screw this, ChatGPT. Can you drive? What do you do? And it provided like this here's what you do. Here's how far you can drive. Like that. And I'm like, see?
You know what? That's a fair point.
Yeah.
That's a fair point.
It just gives you so much better information. But it's interesting. This whole time I thought that it was doing the Googling for me and compiling everything instead of predicting what the answer would be based on the large language model.
Right.
I didn't understand that. So not that necessarily changes anything, but I'm thinking.
No, I had the same thought. Yeah. Like that it was just compiling all of the Google
for me. Yeah.
Right. That's what I thought too.
Yeah. But it's actually thinking based on what it knows, based on reading everything. I bet you Leslie Lemke could have done the same thing. Remember him? Wasn't that the savant that memorized 12,000 books? He probably could have been just as good having him around. All right, well, strangers, that is AI psychosis, a subject that I guarantee you will not have heard of for the last time.
Oh, God, help us.
Years to come.
God, help us.
You will need to sign up for the Stranger Society on our website, strangemindpodcast.com, because we will be talking about how AI has driven some teenage kids to actually commit suicide and what AI companies are doing to stop it. So tune in for that very uplifting episode on our website, and thanks for listening.
All right. Peace out.
Later.